but recognizing that the reality before the mind, the bliss of your being, is available to you now. So meditation is not trying to get there, it's trying to sit in it. And so if you're trying to get there, you won't be sitting in it. If you just...
Can you give an example? Like, for example,
well,
sitting like in a chair and just
yeah, you
being.
can sit anywhere you're comfortable. I would say in the past, I think about a year ago, we did this exercise when people were talking about meditation again, and they were talking about their lack of progress or what they felt about it or their progress about it. And we did this exercise of accepting any thought. So when a thought comes, instead of saying a thought is in the way and obstructing my meditation or obstructing my ability to sit as I am, to be as myself, you would just accept it. And so people experimented with that for a while, and they found that self-acceptance of their thoughts didn't give the thoughts more validity. It wasn't a way to suppress them, it was a way to accept. And meditation is the acceptance of that who you are, exactly what you are, and how that feels to be is available right now. It's not your enlightenment in the future. It's available right now because it is you.
So it's not the act of sitting in silence and like in a state of concentration. It's not that meditation.
That is a form of concentration meditation. So there's lots of kinds of meditation, but I'm talking about the supreme practice of it is just abiding as yourself. And so if you're abiding as yourself, you have the faith and you have the conviction that who you are is this, is consciousness itself, is already happy, is already free. That you're not doing it to get to it. You're doing it to be as you are. Because when you go throughout the day, you tend to think all these thoughts, you tend to do all this stuff, and you feel this subtle stress all the time. You got to do more, right?
Yeah.
You got to do the next thing. But what if it was okay and completely allowable to think or say to yourself, I don't have to do the next thing. I can just abide as myself as I am. That would be meditation. So that's that conviction that you don't have to go and do something or think something or have a plan to get somewhere. A lot of people make meditation and spiritual practice a plan to get somewhere. That might help with their conviction a bit, but why don't you get right to your conviction? How deep is your conviction that you have a right to your own natural state of who you are? Do you have a strong conviction of that? Or you think, no, I don't have any right to it?
So it's like, even like, could be similar to give an example, like kind of relax, like the thing with the contractions, like this kind of relax yourself and like just don't think too much about.
What is the contraction? The contraction is the conviction that you have no right to be as you are, to be in your natural state of already happy. That's the contraction. You have this overwhelming belief that coming into this society with everybody also believing this, you have this overwhelming conviction that you cannot be already free, already happy.
Oh, I see.
See? So that's the contraction. So you tend to think like, oh, unless I do something, I'm not going to have a meaningful life. I won't be meaningful. I won't be important. I won't be real. I won't be special. I have to get there. I'm trying to get there. But what if you just said, well, I can have fun and do stuff, but I also don't have to get anywhere. What if I just be as I am and accept that that is good enough? And what would that experience be if you just sat there and said, I'm good enough? What is that?
Peace.
But see, you're so convicted that you're not good enough that you have to get better, that you have to try. So you're convicted of that. So that's why meditation in the beginning seems to be a series of concentrations or teachings that you study and you follow, and you try to adhere your body to it. You try to adhere your mind to, take it up, try to convince yourself that you want it. But most people don't take to meditation. When I was younger, I was really attracted to meditation. When I was 19, I used to go sit up in the attic, and I used to meditate till I felt I had some kind of point to it, like some kind of experience, that I arrived at some experience, and then I would finish. And I actually got to the point when I did that, I started having dreams of different spiritual beings, and they told me not to do that, to stop, because later I wasn't the right time yet for me. So, but later, when I came into contact with Adida, his transmission just showed me, as he said when he saw Ran Adhut, that the recognition of someone being free as he is, already awake, gave Adida the permission to say, oh, that's exactly what I am. I don't have to try to get there or try to go towards it. I am that. So seeing someone awake gave Adida the permission to be awake for himself, to his intuition and his experience and his transmission of it came to the foreground and gave him permission to acknowledge it and to live it. So so it really is based on your faith or your feeling that you have a right to be enlightened. You have a right to be yourself. It would be kind of silly to seem that you don't have a right to be yourself, as you really truly are. That you don't have that right, that you somehow have to earn it, or you somehow have to be special to get it, or better than other people, or something. So some of your ideas about meditation seem like I'm in this situation where I have to get somewhere, and I wanted to meditate to get there, but I don't really like to meditate. Is that kind of your situation?
Yeah, sometimes I guess, I don't know, like, maybe I'm trying to, like, I still have this idea of the spiritual path, for say, something like you gotta do some stuff, you gotta eat well, you gotta do meditation, you gotta maybe start to do, like, regular things, you know what I mean? I always, like, I'm very confused about those things, so I always think I'm not doing anything, and I want to do something, but I don't know what to do, so it's so confusing. And also I try to copy Danny. You remember when I told you the copy paste thing? And I see Danny, he always is meditating. He does so well with that. And I feel like, and we have this awesome room, and I want to use the room to read. For example, I'm reading your second book now, and I feel like, to me, I try to think, okay, this is like a meditation. Could be like a meditation reading in that room, like a special room. But
so in sitting in that room, yeah, in sitting in that room and reading the work, does it give you more of a conviction of your enlightenment? Does it give you more permission that you could be enlightened?
Yeah, or
because most people here are not interested in their own enlightenment at all. In fact, the idea of it seems absurd to them. They have no attraction, no interest in it. You could sit in a room all day with them and try to have fun with them, meditate with them, or do anything with them. They will have no interest. So there's...
I think I'm more interested of being free, like just stop to have all these ideas. I gotta be, you gotta be skinny and like sexy and this and that. I want.
You do.
I don't know. I cannot. That's the reason, because like maybe I'm so attracted to you because you are so free. Like you are a free woman, and that's like that's the thing I really like kind of want to achieve, like the freedom of being a woman and be whatever I want to do. Like. And this book I'm reading, your book, what is the name again? Woman Warrior.
Oh, yeah. That's when I lived with a group of women.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, you like meditation, right? Daniel, you like to meditate?
Me?
Yes.
I recently started to really like it like a few weeks ago for the first
Oh,
time.
okay. But you were doing it before that and you didn't like it very much?
Yeah, it was more like, oh God, I gotta go meditate, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And now I'm like, oh, I'm excited to go sit and meditate. And when I don't when I don't get to it that day, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have done it, but not because like I felt like it was a necessity for some other reason, but more just because like I'm enjoying just sitting there and just like being. And it's not like I have these great meditations. Like my mind is running, but I'm like learning to just sit and be like okay with that.
Okay.
And just okay, like whatever thoughts, like you're saying, like whatever thoughts come, well that's okay too. Like I can't control any of that. Whatever, I have to let it meditate me, and that could take 1,000 lifetimes, or it could take 2 years. You know, like I just have to be okay with all of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning, and that kind of feels really nice.
That's good. So it seems to me that it's becoming a, instead of using the word path, something you like, that you have a passion for, and so you're willing to sit through whatever obstacles are there. If you think of anything else in your life, like I used to, I started really liking hiking in my older age, and there was a lot of difficulties, a lot of altitude, a lot of hard work, getting hot, getting tired, making sure you have enough water, food, everything you can imagine, wild animals, and if I didn't have a passion for it, that I discovered that I had a passion for it, I kept going. I would say, oh, this is too hard, this is too much, I can't take this, can't take that. And so meditation can be something just like anything else you do that you uncover that you have a passion for. And so if it's there, if you have a passion for it, whatever seems to be clumsy and difficult or just plain annoying about it, you overcome it. If you don't have a passion for it, then it just is like, it's almost like getting up and you have to go to work and to a job you don't really like, but you want the money. So you want the enlightenment. You want the money, so you go to your job. But so if you are finding, Daniel, that you have a passion for it, then it will continue. It will continue to keep going and show itself to you. If you find that you don't, then that's all right too. But because the path is not always one way or the other. The path is actually that you come into a source of awakening. And that awakening, you are attracted to it. So if your attraction comes through your relationship with me, or reading some of my works, or having a play with me, or doing some service for me, or staying in my sphere in any way that you understand it, that becomes a passion for you, then you will overcome any obstacle that you might have there. And you'll be happy about it. So some of the people had a relationship of service to me, and they ended up trying all sorts of things that they didn't think they had any interest or talent in, and found that it developed, and it kept moving and developing. And in that, they were able to stay in the room and stay in their heart and become deeper convicted of the possibility of their own enlightenment. So everybody in this room has been here a long time, and hopefully they all feel that their enlightenment is more available and more possible and can be deeper, rather than I've been at this for so many years and I'm still trying to hang in there and I'm just full of the self-contraction still. So other than that, so I don't know if you made up your mind about it yet, but you might have some passion there for meditation. I think it's too soon to tell. And do you feel that way? It's too soon to tell?
Yeah, I mean, I think I should do more. I think I have to give it a try, like another try, because I have done some meditation. It's just like, I don't know. For example, if you go to meditate and you do, for example, 5 minutes, oh, this is too little. I should be doing 30 minutes. Like, I am always thinking, like, questioning myself. Maybe I should be doing more. Maybe I'm doing too little and this and that, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
My leg's so annoying. Oh my God. I have so much contraction.
I feel that way about writing. I just say to myself, just write one paragraph. That's it, and then you can go play. Then if I do that, I end up writing 3 or 4 pages. So sometimes you have to trick yourself into something you know you already want to do and you will do, but for some reason you're not that inclined. I don't know, my nature or personality, or your nature or personality is not that inclined. So I've ended up doing several things in my life which were to relieve the stress of some other thing, like teaching. I took up walking and hiking in nature, and then it became another level of work I did. And so then I was doing art, and that became another way to release stress of other things, and then it took upon its own thing. And so everything I ended up doing to initially relieve the stress of my teaching function ended up being a big passion of mine, and that big passion of mine created its own stresses. So you can never get away from it, but you can enjoy it. So I think you'll be all right if you keep trying, if you want to find out, if you have a passion for it.
I read in an article that you need 21 days to get into something. For example, a diet or like could be like a sport. You gotta be like 21 days doing it, and then if, for example, after that you don't like it or whatever, it's because maybe it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but.
Well, some people are quick studies, so you might need 5 minutes. Some people might need 21 days.
21 days.
I needed how many years of teaching? Yeah. Does anybody's meditation relationship to it deepen? Do you have more passion for it now, or?
I do it just whenever now.
Whenever?
Just fall into it.
You just fall into it. Okay. Do people like meditation more?
Yes.
No? Okay. What do people like about their love for their enlightenment? Do you love your enlightenment more? Whether it's not profound yet or not? Do you love it more?
Oh, yeah.
Do you love that you can be Buddha?
It's amazing.
It is
Yeah.
amazing.
It's amazing.
So if you could be Buddha, then maybe Buddha was just a guy too. Maybe he's not all that hype. Take all the hype away from all that and just be a Buddha, meet a Buddha. Oh, sorry to keep saying that. Sorry, Buddha.
He had major passion.
Yeah. He had passion for getting to the bottom of suffering.
Yeah.
So if you have a passion and a conviction, and you feel it is your right to awaken, you can. And it doesn't have to be like way into the future. But you have to have the conviction of it now. And so when you're not living it now, when you're going away from it, like you said, you can just stop and be in it again. Be as you are. We're all just going to physically die, so what are we doing before that? Before we physically die? Just being as we are. And as you can see, the nature of experience is up and down, pleasure, pain, suffering, goes up and down, goes up and down. I watched both the Democratic Convention and the Republican Convention, and everybody was saying the other person was so radical and dangerous. And I was thinking, like, these people are so conservative. So if you look at the world, they're not going to say, all right, have a conviction, you have a right to awaken. The world's not telling you have a right to awaken.
No.
The world's telling you have a right to what?
Fall in line.
Try to get happy.
Try to get happy, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They're not saying...
Well worded.
Yeah. They're not saying, well, life, liberty, and being already happy. No. Just try to get happy. Let's see what you can do with it. So the winners are the people who tried to get happy and they became rich, they became famous, they became successful, whatever, right? And that's what we're supposed to worship as enlightenment. But then you get to hear the backstories of these people, and it's kind of sad. Most of it's very sad. So, the conviction that you have for your own enlightenment is the strongest path. How strong that conviction is. And that conviction can grow, too. How strong that conviction is how your path unfolds. Because it will take you everywhere you need to go. And where will that be?
Yourself.
Higher realms, lower realms, wherever. Wherever you are, you have to test your freedom there. Wherever the goddess puts you. Whatever's going on. I don't know. It's hard to come to that conviction. I know when I was feeling like, oh, I can't live a life like what people are doing. I have to find the truth. I didn't feel any permission in the culture or with anybody I knew. But fortunately, I had a lot of spiritual help internally with higher beings and other spiritual masters. But it's all there for you too, because everybody who understands this, who knows this, wants it to be true of you too. They're not like, I'm the only special me in the club guy. I'm the only one that's already happy, and I like to be around a bunch of unhappy people all the time. You know how people always say they're too busy? Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I'm so busy these days. And I always say, yeah, I've been really busy being happy. Nobody likes that answer. They're like, yeah, you get to be happy. I'm not happy. Why should you be happy? Yeah, well, that's no permission. No permission for love, no permission for happiness, no conviction of enlightenment. Like, of all the hard-earned rights to win, the right to be awake hasn't been seen as a right yet. It should just be seen as a right. It's your right. Or you left. I'm left-handed. So you have this impulse to come to the spiritual path. You've heard about it. You want it. You want to wake up. But you're so mixed in the dark age of the conviction of no enlightenment, particularly for women. You just have to serve the religious hierarchy or the spiritual hierarchy of men, and hopefully they'll let you in, and they won't.
Follow the patriarchy.
So this is why it's hard to have that conviction right now, because everybody's busy saying, you want to wake up? That's really selfish. Did you hear that from your parents when you said, I want to go out and find enlightenment in the world, or I want to go find a guru and wake up? They said that was selfish. What's their view of enlightenment? What do you think they think it is that would make it selfish thing to do?
I don't think they even think it's real.
They don't think it's real.
Yeah.
I think it's withdrawn from life.
Right. It's a cult. It was always the first word was cult. You're in a
Cult.
cult.
Yeah. Everybody's in the cult of personality, right? Yeah. It's just afraid. Afraid of the power of being yourself. If everybody was awake, what would they do?
Yeah.
Stay here.
What would if all the Democrats and Republicans were enlightened, what would it look like?
Unicorns and rainbows.
Unicorns and rainbows?
You could be president. You could be president instead of a donkey and a
Donkey and a what? What's the other?
Elephant.
Elephant. Wait a minute, elephants look cool.
Elephants are way cool.
donkeys are cool actually too.
So now that I'm old and I've been teaching for many years, and I talked and tried to help people to meditate better, tried to help people see the self-contraction. I showed people a way of life that would be helpful and calming. Right now, I basically see that if you don't have the conviction, doesn't matter what kind of form you have, you're not going to get anywhere, because you're not doing it for the right reason, you're not doing it with the right understanding. If you don't have the conviction, you can. There's a lot of people go to their jobs for 50 years and they never get any better at it. You go to the job for 50 years, you think you would have a little interest in getting better at it and say, well, I'm here again. Can I do this better today? But not really. A lot of people raise kids or are married and the love doesn't go really deep. It's just a lot of long-term familiarity, and fear of being alone. So if you're actually in the life you're having, the conviction that you have a right to live in it, the happiest, in your happiest way, should arise, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. And that's spiritual in itself. That's conviction in itself. So when people arrive at that, they say, well, then it would be better to be kinder. It would better be pay attention at my job, be more helpful, take care of myself better. All those things naturally arise, not as a discipline that's forced on you to get enlightenment, but just because it makes sense. You're going to be happier with your body if you treat it better. You're going to find your job more meaningful if you bring energy to it and try to do your best. That's what you find out. So everybody's spiritual path is actually the life they're actually having. The same way your job is not your identity. Who are you when you get home from your job? So if doing spiritual disciplines doesn't make you a spiritual aspirant, but rather being in the life you have and living it with a sense of presence, to be in it, to accept it, to accept yourself, to know that the sacred can be met there where you are, and to pay attention to how to do that in all events. And so over the years, you had bad bosses, but instead of being righteous and mad about it, or bad girlfriends or bad boyfriends, instead of being righteous and mad about it, you say, how can I see this, that I still can have the conviction that my job is meaningful, or that my life and relationship is meaningful? How can I understand this? So if you blame others, there's something about your own life you're not accepting. And what would that be?
Your own decisions.
Yes, your own decisions. You chose that job. You chose those people. So if you choose something, then that gives you the incentive to do it right. If you end up blaming or righteous, we can't just blame the whole system of everything. You can blame the patriarchy if you want. You can't blame anything, because this is the condition. This is where you're being tested to see what's your conviction for your enlightenment. It's so easy to feel love when someone's flattering you, but what if when they're criticizing you? And what if you need that criticism? What if that criticism is unjust? So those are all the things life brings you. That's the practice. So it's not really the kind of diet you eat, how much ceremonies you do, what kind of food you eat, if you're celibate. That's just either it makes sense what you're doing with food or what you're doing in relationships, or it doesn't to you. If you take it up and create a different life on top of a life that you tend to be attracted to or want to have, then you won't take responsibility. It won't be your decision. It'll be what you had to do at the job. So if you go to the job and you say, hey, I have some really good ideas how to improve the place, and everybody says, no, we don't want them. What do you do, right? You just, oh, okay. Well, you don't accept that. You find a way to slowly keep adapting.
Go around it, yeah.
Go around it and find a way to, once people see it's better, they'll be happy and keep going. And that's the spiritual life. You keep going because nobody's going to openly embrace anything. And even when people take up spiritual disciplines, nobody in their lives embraces them doing it. Your father doesn't say, okay, it's time to go meditate. I better go home now. Yeah. They go, you gotta meditate. Karen, you gotta meditate. This is my kids. She's meditating. So that's it. But yeah. So to be in the life you're having, this is a life you were given. This is a life you designed. You're the designer life. You designed your life. Before you got in here, you said, I want to learn. I want to go deeper. I want to understand myself as reality. I want to be able to live it. Here's the conditions I'm choosing that's going to work best for me. You didn't know you chose any of it, but you did, which is the funny thing. Because now I look at it and I go, yeah, I chose everything. And I'm so happy because it all came out so good. Mm. So when it comes out all so good because you're happy, already happy, because you realize the depth of that and it goes deep and it never ends, then you'll see that whatever happened, there's nothing bad that ever happened to you, ever. Mm-hmm. And believe me, some crap happened to me. But it's not bad. Why is it not bad? It drives you to understand. It drives you to accept. Not to look for other people or the situation or the culture to give you your conviction. You either have your conviction. You bring it with you. You hold it close to you. No one can take it away if it's yours, right? Mm-hmm. If it's not yours, if it's depending on everybody's permission, they can take it away whenever they want to. So you all came into this life for some reason. You were attracted to your enlightenment. It was shining for you. It said, come, wake up. We want you to wake up. It's time to wake up. Come on. And you were given this life, looking like you look, having the kind of job you have, the kind of people. You ever wonder, you ever look at other people's life and say, did they have people in their life they really love and they really enjoy them? Mm-hmm. I hope so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I have that. Yeah. Don't you hope everybody has that? Mm-hmm. And then when you meet other people, you go, oh, that other person is their close one. Oh, I hope they're really enjoying how much they love that person. I wonder if people think like that. Or they're thinking like, oh, my boyfriend. No, because you're so lucky. You picked it all, So if you're happy in this room with everyone here, you picked all this. You picked all the different kind of personalities and different looking kind of people from different backgrounds and different economic situations and different age groups, and you picked all of it. It's so weird. And when you do art, you're picking all of it, right? And when you do music, you're picking it. And when you decide what to eat, what you're picking, right? Mm-hmm. But do you know you're picking your own life? You are picking it. So if you're picking something that seems kind of difficult, you might think like, this is really hard. Why am I doing this? Because you have the strength to do it. You got it. Just think of the worst, darkest suffering you've gone through. Well, it's in the past.
It's not right now.
Still here.
Something happened. You went away for some reason. So that was Buddhist study. Terrible things can happen to all sorts of people, good and bad. What is the essence of suffering? It helped for him to have his conviction grow stronger. If suffering shuts down your heart, then you have to learn what? That having a shut down heart is not worth it. And when when you shut down your heart, you're really blaming somebody else
Yes,
too.
blame, yeah.
Yeah. What if you knew that whatever mistake you made, you could change it in 5 seconds?
Awesome.
You can. But you have to change it when whatever's happening now. You can't go to the past to change it. So you don't call up your ex-boyfriend and say, sorry, I was such an asshole. You're just nicer to the next boyfriend. You don't go to the past and say, this, and this, and this. You live it. You accept your life. You try to go to the past to heal it. It doesn't work. Saying I'm sorry doesn't work. Doing the different action works. Living what you understand, doing different action. So your sadhana is the life you're actually in. So in spiritual communities, everybody tries to be the nice. What is it on computers? They say you have to check the box. I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a spiritual robot. You all think you have to conform to something, to some form, some idea, but you're not quite sure what that is. But what if you're just trying to get to that? Is it okay for me to be enlightened? Is it okay? I'm only 16. Is that okay? I got 3 kids. Is that okay? I'm from Rhode Island. I have cancer. Is that okay that I'm enlightened?
Rhode Island.
I mean, Buddha was a prince. Krishna was a prince. That's a lot of... You know, Sita wasn't. She was born out of the earth. And then, but her luck, a king found her. She had terrible luck, though. She had a terrible life. Sita. So yeah, so I think if you begin and find a way that holds you, that holds your conviction, allows your conviction to get deeper, shows you a path, shows you how to live that life, you're meant for enlightenment. If you study a lot of spiritual teachings and you have a lot of ideas that are spiritual, you just get a spiritual ego. But as soon as life gives you some suffering, oh boy, you're sour. You're mad about everybody and everything. Those damn Republicans, those damn Democrats are evil. It doesn't matter how evil anybody is. It doesn't have to stop your enlightenment. The same way if, you know how there's some people who have some terrible injury and they go on and run this marathon race.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like amazing.
Yeah.
And they're like limping and
Yeah.
you can't believe it. Like, I'm like, why are you doing this? Because they have a conviction for it. They have the faith. They need to do it. They want to do it. They can overcome anything. And so that's why people who wake up seem to have been spiritual heroes in general, because they seem to overcome everything, you know, that's thrown up in life. But you can have an easy life and wake up because your conviction is there. And whatever is occurring in your life, you overcome it. You say, can I practice love now? Can I practice happiness now in this situation? You know, and there's some moments that are so surreal, like they're so weird or dark or terrible that you go, this is a test. Have any of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just kind of step outside yourself instead of getting all upset and reacting and go,
Wait a minute.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, yeah.
Well, the whole world's like that all the time, pretty much. I mean, if you're trying to find your conviction in the world to be happy, or you're trying to find your place in the world, you're trying to fit in here, you're just going to be pretty much sad and frustrated. But, you know, you don't have to be a prince to be enlightened. You don't have to be even a man. Woohoo! Woohoo! doesn't even have to be. You can be gender fluid. Hey,
Hey. You
boy,
can-
I like gender fluid. That's a good one.
Thank you.
So, do you think you can be flawed human being and still wake up?
Yes.
Okay.
Hope so.
Hope so.
I hope so.
You
Everybody
said nobody
is.
was hopeless.
Well, Majai used to say, "There's no throwaway people."
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things she said. Just try to throw them away, right? That's what they do.
Boomerang.
They always come back.
No matter what kind of situation anybody is in, they still have two possibilities: to be further convicted of the ego, or have conviction of true nature, of the true self. Doesn't matter how wretched you are or how privileged you are. You're all in the same boat. It's the great equalizer. You can see a homeless guy sit by the road. He could be enlightened. You don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
You could see Donald Trump and say, "Boy, that guy's a jerk." Might be enlightened. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know what anybody's conviction is. You don't know what's going on in people. Why should we know, huh? If you have sympathy and empathy for people, then you'll be fine. But if you just are convicted that other people are there just to aggravate you and make you feel unhappy and mad, then it won't go that well. You have conviction of your enlightenment? You came to this life with that. Yeah. It's just going to get bigger and bigger as you get older and older. It's not going to be like, because I'll say, "Oh, yeah."
Get your act together.
What's that?
Get your act together.
Get your act together.